Illuminated Shades and Sunny Days. Welcome to the Cinegration Station with your conductors Ryan and AJ. Today the fellas sit down with their guest Nichole from Hunter Douglas to discuss their new product, Aura Illuminated Shades. So tune in now here on the Cinegration Station.
Welcome to the Cinegration Station. This is your conductor Ryan.
This is AJ.
And we have
Nichole
from Hunter Douglas. Thank you so much for being here, Nichole.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Here we are in Denver, and the Nuggets won, and we get to celebrate today and, talk tech, which is what we like to do on a beautiful Tuesday morning.
Yeah, and today we wanted to go over one of our favorite vendors, which is Hunter Douglas, and kind of discuss their new products.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about Aura Illuminated Shades.
So you talk about Aura. So what are Aura shades?
So Aura Illuminated Shades is basically we took existing Hunter Douglas products today. So some of Hunter Douglas's most popular and successful products, Vignette Modern Roman Shades, Sonnet Cellular Roller Shades, and then Designer Roller Shades, and we added illumination to the product. So now you not only have a shade that gives you the benefit of controlling light in a room, but you now have a shade that you can also create light. So how we're marketing Aura is basically as 3 shades in one. So you get a typical Hunter Douglas shade, a shade that you would put in your window every day. And then the second benefit is room darkening. So there is an independent liner that comes down behind the shade. And it gives you that room darkening benefit.
Yep.
And then the third benefit is illumination. So you have full control of your shades.
This is amazing, by the way. So just to kind of sum this up, because we talk about in our podcast pretty much everything. We love lighting. We talk about smart lighting controls. We talk about integrated technology. We talk about shades. This is the very first time we've ever even considered a light fixture that is a shade that also looks like a luxury product in the home, and it functions as almost 3 different things. So for us, this is like a life-changing product line that we're bringing on as an integrator.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it really gives, the consumer the options to do whatever they need to do and create light that they want to create. There's a ton of benefits to with Aura. So not only can you create light, but you can also adjust the temperature. So you can range from anywhere from warm to cool. You can also adjust the brightness. So you can go from bright to dim. So it really gives you that full functionality.
You get the sunrise and sunset all within the shade, regardless of whether the sun is actually out or not.
Yep, exactly.
And, it's been a really cool shade. I have a couple in my house. Apparently, you have a whole lot more in your house, so you've really gotten to see the whole effect. Have you built a lot of scenes?
I have. So one of my favorite, so we have them in our bedroom, we have them in our downstairs family room, and I also have them in my gym. So the morning scenes are probably my favorite, especially, now this time of year, it's bright outside when you wake up, but typically it's, 5 a.m., it's pitch black.
Yeah, it's cold, it's gray, it's like, I don't even want to get up for coffee at this point.
Exactly. So I love the morning scenes. I have them set to come on about 5 a.m., really warm light. So it kind of gives you that feeling of, the daylight starting. Like I said, when it's pitch black outside.
Literally to visualize your day starting, it like you don't need to wait for the sun to come up. You're just, it's up to you how well you feel in your home waking up.
Exactly, and it's so much more pleasing than a blaring alarm clock waking me up. So I have them in one of my daughter's rooms. I have 3 small girls, and I love having them in there. It kind of, is like a nightlight for them, and then you can set a scene for it to slowly ramp down and turn off at night.
Nightlight
I never thought of that.
That's a great idea.
The nightlight idea is cool. You could have that as a really, really soft 2200 Kelvin.
I think during this session, we're going to have a lot of ideas drawn out just from some of the really unique capabilities that this offering has. And I do want to stress this is like very cool for us to be a part of, to first of all learn how it could benefit, and like also us seeing the direct need for our clients to have this in their home, just from the sheer traffic that we see somebody having to use that sort of technology in their house. it'd be great.
Yeah, we've. I think the possibilities or some of the really cool areas we could use these is in obviously the low light applications, basements, bedrooms is interesting. I'm actually going to be creating a fake window in my basement.
Why would you create a fake window in your basement?
You have to see the shade. When you see the shade and you see it glow, I mean, it really truly does look like a late afternoon or an early morning, and lights coming through the window, and it's just really pleasant. And so you can take a dark room or a dark area where you have 4 cans and a fan. You got your standard setup, and then now you can add in that horizontal sunset light to the area, and I'm going to do that actually in my basement.
I think that's a good idea. Otherwise, we see a lot of basements. You got maybe a Shaq jersey on the wall. Like maybe you could just put that into like a really beautiful window that looks like the opening. Because sometimes we go in these basements and it's like it feels like you're in a cave. I mean, there's some recessed lights, but it's not always like the most enjoyable space. Sometimes I feel like this can contribute to it being really a much more enjoyable space.
Yeah, we joke this is going to be the first Hunter Douglas product that we actually start selling when there's not a window. Because typically, obviously, you need a window for a shade, and Aura changes that.
Yeah, there was a project another AV company did a number of years ago where they actually did a missile silo. Some guy bought some huge nuclear missile silo. I want to say it was Logic Integration did it. They won an award for doing the job. But yeah, it's this huge building, and it's like 20-something floors down. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, this product would be like perfect for that. You could emulate, 200 feet underground, the sun. So
daylight, and I mean, Denver, we're usually one of the sunnier states, but the last couple weeks have been testing that. It's been a little bit gloomy, so it's been great to have this, even at my own house in the afternoons to kind of create. I really am a person who, my mood and personality kind of is based on the weather, and I'm adding a little bit of sunlight into my life through my shades.
Yeah, one thing I really like about Hunter Douglas, if for those of you who don't know, Hunter Douglas, they make shades, a lot of shades. I think there's over now 100 types officially. I keep adding more and more to the list in the software.
It's hard to keep them all straight.
I'm sure well over 100 combinations of shades.
There's a lot, and each one is, they made so many. One of the things I like about Hunter Douglas is they're kind of trying to fit all the applications. They're like, how far can we push natural light control?
And Nichole, if we can, maybe you could explain a little bit about what you're doing at Hunter Douglas and how long you've been there. Obviously, you have some great experience in the field.
So I have been at Hunter Douglas for 11 years, my entire career. I started when I graduated college, and I'm still there. But like you said, we produce window fashions. So I am in the product marketing group, the product management, and we bring the last few years I have been specifically working to bring new products to the market. So, brand new products that haven't existed before. So I think I told you guys you've got one here in your showroom, the Illustra Architectural Shades. I brought that one to the market from concept, to the market, and then now Aura Illuminated Shades. So it's creating these new products. I do a ton of market research. So we kind of come up with these concepts, and we have these, innovative meetings where you bring a bunch of minds together, everywhere from engineering, product managers, everybody at Hunter Douglas comes together, and we think, what is the next thing? And about 6 years ago, that was Aura. It wasn't called Aura at the time, but it was, bringing lighting to the shades. And we took it to market. We started with, crazy concepts, because one of the challenges with lighting is how do you illuminate the entire shade? You've got, so how Aura works is we have an LED strip that's built into the headrail. The lights then bounce off a reflector and down a reflective liner material, which gives you illumination from top to bottom. But that took a long time to figure out how to get that light and how to not just have this, bright, glaring headrail basically in the window, and how to give you that nice, soft illumination that you would get from actual sunlight. So we had concepts, anything from a honeycomb shade. At one point we had LED strips in every single pleat, and
just trying it all,
seeing it all, and
sticks.
The shade weighed 1,000,000 pounds, and we couldn't really operate it up or down, but it was then figuring out how to get that full illumination from LEDs just in the headrail.
Yeah, it's, we've seen it quite a few times.
Yeah.
I don't have it in my house, like you cool people have it in your house.
You're next.
I think when we saw it, it was just like, what a great idea.
Where kind of Aura started to, become a product was they love the texture of the fabric, and they love seeing the beauty of the fabric during the day, but then when it gets dark at night and, your windows are dark, the shade just kind of hangs there. It doesn't really have much life. You lose that texture.
Yeah.
At that point, it just is a shade. So it's how do you bring that, beautiful texture to life any hour of the day? Yeah,
it's pretty remarkable. Now, AJ, so your fake window, I wanted to talk back about that. So the idea of this, window that kind of creates such an inviting space, we go into lighting design, because now this stems into we have a shade, we could block light, we can create a space more habitable, and it's more comfortable, but now we can just really dress it up and bring this into the control system aspect, and we could get into the horizon line and seeing the light in the right spot in the evening, and it just being easy on your eye when you walk into a new beautiful room. Or, if it's an existing beautiful room, I talk about it in a lot of new builds we do. So, it's always a wow factor when you go into a new space. But, so control-wise, what are you thinking you're going to do?
Yeah, the control side of it, it's definitely more challenging. You now have a 2-movement shade, because you have a blackout and you have a front roller. So you have 2 shades already. And on top of that, now you're adding light. I think that from the Control 4 or from a smart home integration standpoint, the light in the shade is going to just be part of your lighting scene ambiance. So it will just be another light to it. Where I think we might run into a couple challenges is going to be voice control, especially with Mr. Josh over there. Josh considers a shade and considers a light a light.
We like to think about how we really tailor these solutions to fit the holistic part of the smart home, because this is a smart product,
right?
But you don't sell all the other smart products that we do. So we try to really find the unique position to highlight all the attributes of the Aura shade, and ultimately what it can do from the full value of the automated home.
There was a custom training that we went to at the Hunter Douglas factory over in Broomfield, which is really close to me. Actually, as a kid, I used to ride my bike through the Hunter Douglas headquarters.
Through the weaving mills of the fabrics, and
Well, I lived in the neighborhood that's directly next to it. So that was there were some really good jumps and bike jumps and things like that. But on the shades, I was actually talking with another dealer who was there, and we were kind of going over, how do we create that circadian rhythm effect? Now incorporating this light, and how are we going to tie in the shade light now to the ceiling Lutron lights, or the Control 4 lights, or the Vantage lights, or something? And it was a fun conversation. I think the Aura shades will work out well. The API from the more technical side of things is working really well. You've given us a full color palette from 6,500 Kelvin down to 2,200 Kelvin for us nerdy
fully
people.
Selectable. Somebody could just change it any time of day or manually override it and just make it any color temp.
Yeah, where I think some of the challenges are going to be from the control standpoint is going to be, it's almost like there's so much you can do. Now I don't know what to do. Kind of thing.
Sure.
And so I think that's where
innovation.
Yeah, and I think that's where a good dealer, a good integrator, can help kind of cross that line, can help you figure out what is correct, and here's maybe a couple automatic scenes that come up here, kind of gets the taste of it, and then what's nice about the Hunter Douglas is the app is actually it's pretty friendly. It's pretty easy. It's easy to add stuff in, and so you can grow with it over time.
And that's, and you bring up a good point too about, it taking the right dealer to be able to, sell Aura and explain Aura and integrate Aura into a smart home. And that was something Hunter Douglas took really, really seriously, as we wanted to make sure that, Aura was in the right hands. So you guys it is a limited distribution. Not everybody can sell Aura. So Cinegration you guys are one of just a handful who even have Aura right now. And we know, it's a brand new product. It's an innovative product. The market's never seen anything like this. They've never seen a shade that, has lighting. And like I said, 5 years ago, one of the question was, why? Why would I want a shade with, lights in it? That doesn't make sense. What's the benefit?
Sure.
And really, with time, with technology, as new products start to come on the market, we've really started to see, consumers and dealers shift into, understanding the benefits of Aura.
It's just, you got to see it to believe it.
Exactly.
It's all about the experience, and that falls in line with a lot of the things that we're doing. Is you could talk about the experience of a 120-inch direct view LED TV, but it's one thing to stand in front of it and see what's happening behind, in front of your eyes.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I'm glad that you guys came out with it now. I think actually about technology-wise, 5 years ago, while there was color lighting, there was obviously color lighting, smart lighting, the UI experience from the customer didn't really exist in a lot of the smart home apps. In fact, Control 4, I believe it was 21 is when they came out. It was either 20 or 21 is when they first came out with their color integration. So had you brought the shade out prior to that, there actually wouldn't have been a way to even adjust the color.
I used to see the way you just click a toggle till you got to the right color, purple, red, blue, green, and you just had to, I missed it. You got to keep going through the carousel wheel.
Yeah.
I got to go around the horn now. So, it's come a long way. It's really exciting.
Yeah, it has come a long ways.
So one thing I did want to talk about is these shades are a little bit different to install.
Yep.
They do require power, constant power. So if you're used to Hunter Douglas shades, these are not going to be battery powered. There won't be any battery attachment to it. You will need to run a wire, which is another reason you should have a integrator, because where the wire is placed is important.
Yep.
Is there a standard of where you guys want to put that wire? If you're running one?
So the motors are always on the right side, or the plug is always on the right side. So you always have to run wires to the right side of the window for this specific product. Yeah, that is kind of an important detail.
Yes.
Right side, is really crucial for this product.
For sure.
But that is, that is an aspect of this product that we know, a lot of our consumers are used to having the options of batteries, and not everybody has power to the window. So it's going to take a specific home, a specific dealer who understands how to wire and how to install this product as well.
On-site engineering and creative retrofitting is what we specialize in.
There you go.
Another interesting thing about these shades is they are Bluetooth, so you can control them from your phone. They are direct wired, which I don't believe your previous shades were direct wired. I think all your prior shades were always wireless. So is this kind of a new market, stepping into the hardwired only shade integration?
It is a new market, and this is, and you guys obviously being integrators, it's a market that Hunter Douglas is going after, not just for Aura, but, having that power from the window, having those wires to the shade. So it's definitely a new concept. We still obviously will have plenty of options for the rest of the market who wants, battery powered or manual lift systems. But this is, it is new. It's a new realm for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like the fact that they're both hardwired with the option of a wireless Bluetooth in the shade regardless. So when you order it, it just has both features in it. So, if the wire is bad, if the wire is messed up, if, the trim carpenter cut the wire, whatever it is, you'll always be able to control the shade.
Yep.
One thing to point out, the shades do not daisy chain. Each wire is individually run. I didn't think I get an actual distance. Is there a distance rule? Like how much? Like how long? We didn't go over it actually during training, and I want to say it's probably just standard low voltage rules.
Is it 18 volt power supply?
It is an 18 volt power supply. Yes.
And Nichole, are there any use cases that we missed out on that we might have not touched?
You know, I think what's so cool about this product, and like I said, I've been working on it for 5+ years, is every time I meet with dealers or I show somebody new the product, they always seem to come up with new use cases. And a lot of the use cases we're marketing weren't even necessarily come up with Hunter Douglas. They were come up with, by consumers or dealers. You guys have been in a couple times for some research events.
Oh, we get so excited when we go there.
Yeah, it almost feels like how many ideas do you guys want?
What do you want? What do you want? We can see a lot of applications.
Exactly. I think, one of the coolest applications that I have experienced with Aura was we hosted an event. This was a couple years ago. We actually went to Portland, Oregon. We thought, that would be a great market for Aura. They don't have a ton of sunshine. So we went there, we took Aura products, and we rented this huge hotel suite. At the top, it was called the Nines Hotel in the middle of Portland, Oregon. And we installed Aura shades all throughout those suite. And we hosted kind of just like a dinner party. And we had some, some dealers like you guys come in, some consumers come in. And what we did was we actually lifted the Aura shades. So they were about halfway lifted in the window. They were illuminated, but you still got that view of the Portland, it's downtown Portland. It was like
city skyline.
Yeah, the city skyline. And then you got that illumination. And I think the event was supposed to end at 9 p.m. People didn't leave. Nobody left because it was it was a good environment. The lighting was beautiful.
Yeah.
There were cocktails, but nobody, it's like, so that's a really cool scenario for Aura is if you host a lot of parties in a dining room, if you host, dinners, big family holidays.
Little things like that, make you think so creatively of like how to transform a space, from all times of day.
Exactly. And it's, Aura has a wow factor too. Again, it's, people don't necessarily, they're not expecting light to be coming from your shades when it's dark outside. So it's a cool talking point too. We have, my husband, I have a bunch of them in my house, and the other day we had some friends over and he said, oh my gosh, you guys have to come, in and see these cool shades.
Totally.
And, he's not a shade guy, he's not a technology guy, but even he was like, that cool show and tell, the cool factor of it too.
Yeah, and I think the anecdote that you mentioned about like your daughters like waking up like when the sun rises, I feel like that's the one thing you see is parents trying to wake their kids up, and it's like, it's hard for them to wake up, but the sun's not out yet, and like you could actually do a little bit more and make it even easier for them to wake up. And I don't know, that had probably something to do cognitively, like to wake them up earlier in a cyclical thing. I'm not a psychologist, but we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I do I have top-down, bottom-ups in my kids' rooms.
Yeah.
And so I open them from the top rail down 10% every half hour, starting at sunrise. So sunrise right now is like 6:30ish.
Yeah.
So it's, by about I stop at about 40% down, but at that point, there's so much light coming in the room. I actually prefer to have an Aura because when the sun it hits it, even if a shade's open 5%, it's the full sun coming in. It's just so bright, and I wanted something that was more classic and more elegant as it, like rose. The sun rose up with it. I can really darken a room. One of the most powerful things I saw. You weren't in the training. You were someplace much brighter while I was gone. Or
I was in Maui for the last week. I got back just recently.
Nice.
But I'm refreshed and ready to go, and back here in it's not so sunny Denver, but yeah.
You need some Aura shades in here.
We are definitely going to add some Aura shades.
We can make our own sun.
You're right.
We are definitely going to be adding a bunch of Aura shades in here for sure. It's one of those products where, when I first talked about it, I think I told my wife, I'm like, it's basically a shade with a light in it. And she's like, okay,
cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
just like
cool.
how we were talking about at first, like, yeah, sure, I don't understand. And you're like, what? I understand now.
Yeah, and it was I had that same effect that you had, where people were late at the hotel event, and it was about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night at my house, and the shades were on, and people seriously did not realize that. They thought it was like 7:30.
I know, that's what I always joke. I'm like, they're kind of like Vegas, you put these aura shades in your house and you never know what time of day it is.
Yeah, or, I mean, some guests you probably want to leave early, but others, if they want to stay the night till 2 a.m., then they still think it's 7 p.m. out.
You can set a scene that says, time to go, guests leave, and that's what's cool about Aura is, we know that the Aura product is not for every room. So, like I said, we added these to already existing products within the Hunter Douglas line, and all the fabrics match up to the regular core line fabric. So you could have a few Aura shades, and then you could put just a regular vignette, a regular roller, a regular sonnet in the rest of the house.
For full consistency.
For full
throughout
consistency,
the house.
yeah. The same fabric, same look, but it doesn't have to be an Aura shade.
It could just be, a beautiful feature area, or
Yep,
maybe a
exactly.
really large opening that you want to add a little bit more investment to.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited to move forward with this, and we really want to thank you, Nichole, for coming.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And with that being said, you've been listening to the Cinegration Station. This is your conductor, Ryan.
AJ.
And
Nichole.
thank you very much, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, thank you.
We are out of time today. We would like to thank Nichole for coming to the showroom today to discuss the new product line Aura by Hunter Douglas. You've been listening to the Cinegration Station. You can find the podcast on every major platform like Apple, Anchor, Spotify, and YouTube. So please go like and subscribe, leave a comment or a question, share with a friend, and until next time, stay smart.